Hello, welcome back or welcome to the energy forecast. So I do this every week, and though I talk specifically about each week, if you feel called to listen to some random week, it's because there's information there that is for you that would be helpful for you to listen to. So at any time, if you're looking for some sort of guidance, just trust what you feel called to listen to. That will be a good fit for you and your energy at this time. So I'm going to talk on this week. But again, like everything I talk about applies to a much bigger picture. And something I was hearing was that I know I have actually called it this before, and maybe you think of it this way as well, as the universe testing you, right? It's like, oh, I'm going through a test right now. It's testing my willpower. It's testing whatever it is you're facing up against. And what I'm hearing is that we're never being tested. We're always just being shown what we expect, what we're thinking about, what our true vibration, what our true feeling is. So if something's coming to you and you're going, oh, I'm being tested by the universe, God's testing me, it isn't so much a test as it is evidence about what you are expecting, what you think about, what you're still a match to. And in a way, if you kind of like have always called these kind of difficult moments, or these moments where you can kind of see the split between who you are and who you want to be, instead of, oh, this is a test, it's a chance for me to respond in the way that I want to respond instead of the way that I've conditioned myself to respond. So you're not being tested. You are always being guided. You are always being shown. It's like taking a test with the notes, right? Like your teacher, I remember in high school, sometimes they were like, you can use a note card for this test. Like the things we go through in life are their guidance, their information, their feedback on what your vibration is, what the signal is that you're emitting is what you're getting back to you. So if you don't like it, it's not about telling your wife to be different or whoever it is in your life or your job or anything like that. It's feedback for you of, okay, I've been thinking about this thing this very specific way, and that is how it is showing itself to me. Okay, I don't like this. How do I want this thing, this relationship, this circumstance in my life to show up differently? Well, it's not about that thing showing up differently, it's about you showing up differently. So what we label a test is actually just feedback and guidance. And in that moment where what we may call a test, but it's really just guidance, where that guidance arises is where we have that tipping point. You can either keep doing what you normally do, or you kind of reach this peak and you're like, oh, like I'm aware that I've attracted this from this person because I've been thinking she's going to be in mad mood. I've been thinking this, and this is what is showing to me. How can I choose my highest path, right? How can I kind of tip the scale and go in the other direction? Because I'm aware. You have to be willing to own your part in what's manifested in your life. And I guess that's kind of the underlying thing is, are you willing to own, do you believe that you are a part of the bigger picture, that you are a creator of your reality on some level? And if you don't believe that, then this is probably not the channel for you. And maybe you want to stick around to kind of figure out what the heck I'm talking about here. But if you do believe that I'm responsible for my well-being, I'm responsible for what I think about situations, and therefore what I get back from said situations, So notice the tests, really the guidance, the information, the universe being like, here, this is your general state of mind in regards to this topic. Because we can shift how we feel about anything. You know, it can be any, I want to pick some sort of like general topic, but I find in my work, it's easiest when I give you an example of my life. And so you can extract what resonates for you and apply it to your life. So let me see, a recent test for me. So a recent test, again, I'm saying like it's not a test, but that's just how I guess I have referred to it, so it's the easiest word to use. But yes, the feedback that I've received was I got together with my family over the weekend for a birthday party, and my conditioned response is that I have to take care of these people. I want to make sure everyone's happy and well taken care of, and no one feels left out, or no one feels, insignificant, like everyone feels heard. And then I give everyone my time and attention on some level. Like I made it my kind of duty to check in with everyone and often put my needs aside, not really doing what I want, but instead thinking about what others need of me or what I'm thinking they may need of me. So that's definitely like a trauma response, kind of like being on guard, always ready, very anxious energy. So this weekend I had an opportunity, I had guidance that was showing me, well, I could sense it before it happened. So I was sensing that kind of angst building up, and I'm like, what's this about? It's like, it's my family, I love them. I want to spend time with them. So why does this bring up this like tension in me? So I noticed the tension. I allowed myself some space to just feel it, to not go, okay, yeah, it's there, it always is. No, I allowed myself to just sit with it a bit. Like be curious, like, what is this about? Then I felt guided to book a acupuncture session. This woman is like booking 2 months out, and I was sitting here thinking about this question, and then I opened her calendar, and she had an appointment for the next afternoon, and it was like, oh, that's guidance, I ask a question, I'm curious about it, then I feel inspired to look at someone's schedule, I get an appointment the next day, we address some issues of guilt. And I realized that with my mom's passing, with anything that's ever happened to my family members, I have carried this guilt of like somehow I played a role. And my incredible acupuncturist, she's the best, Millis Acupuncture. I was telling her the guilt, my mother-in-law just passed away, my mom passed away. It's bringing up these similar feelings of like, what could I have done differently? How could I have been a better person, better support? And she goes, oh, I didn't know you were God. You must be a busy lady. How do you run a business and make the sun come up and make sure everyone is this and that, And it was like, right, I'm not God. I carry this guilt, this heaviness, this responsibility that I need to be something for other people when I'm not God. So before entering that time with my family, I had a couple days to kind of shift and shed that feeling of responsibility that I somehow play this like larger than life, I can help anyone with anything, I'm here to fix it, what do you need person, and instead shifting into what about you? Because Laura, you're the only person you're really capable of caring for in a way that really matters. Because what I've been doing all these years is, in some form or another, this belief of like, I need to be there for people because what if they need my help? And it's kind of a disempowering thing to think that someone needs me. Nobody needs anybody. We all have our connection to source. We all have our intuitive guidance. We all have our emotional guidance system. Right? Our emotions are always communicating to us information. So it was this kind of confusing, didn't really make sense in my mind, but I just felt it. So anyways, I had a couple days to work on that sensation of guilt and kind of swiping off the table that sense of responsibility about needing to tend to anyone else other than myself. So I was practicing that just in my day-to-day with my partner, with my clients, just being very, like, even I had some real sinus stuff, so I ended up rescheduling a client. Like, I really never do that. So for me to do what was in my best interest, I already started to notice that shift for myself. So, you know, I show up Saturday, and there were a couple moments where I felt kind of pulled into my old habits of, oh, how can I help you? How can I take care of you? How can I make your life easier, even if it puts me in a little bit of an uncomfortable position? I'm willing to sacrifice myself for you. And that's another whole video in itself, how self-sacrifice gives you nothing, and it's this kind of overwatering a plant effect where when you overwater it, it's just like, back off. Like, I don't stop. I can't even breathe. So I had some time to shift my vibration, shift the feeling about what my role is with my family. And I ended up having a really wonderful experience where I didn't feel responsible. I didn't feel guilty. I just got to be present with the people in my life. And, you know, this takes a little bit of forethought, but mostly awareness of your emotions. So maybe you have something coming up. Maybe you're anticipating something. Instead of just kind of putting it on the shelf, what about putting yourself through my process? You know, you don't have to go to acupuncture necessarily, but noticing that discomfort you feel, being with it, feeling, getting curious, like, what is this really about? I have another story. And then seeing what kind of action you feel inspired to take. Maybe there's some sort of revelation that's going to come to you just in asking that question a little bit more curiously about, like, what is this anxiety about? So I have been doing this, it's called self-authoring, and this incredible psychologist, I don't know what he is exactly, he's just great, Jordan Peterson, I've talked about him before. He has this thing called self-authoring, and it's about, you know, kind of digesting your past, writing your future, and talking about your faults, and then talking about your positive aspects, which was really interesting. It was so easy for me to talk about my faults and really hard to talk about my positive aspects of myself. So anyways, one of the exercises is kind of like life coaching. You kind of decide on a goal, you put it into place, you talk about what could get in your way, you talk about why you want to do it, yada, yada, yada. I want to create my Reiki teaching manual because that's going to allow me to teach students how to do Reiki. So, you know, in my body, I was like, I know I want to do it, but when am I going to do it? When does that, like, I'm a feeler, so I feel things, then make some structure around it, like creating a schedule. But if you just tell me, like, what are you doing Monday, Tuesday? It's like, wait, what, why, what's going on? Because I got to feel it first and then let you know. So I was a little apprehensive, but whatever. I went through the self-authoring thing and I made a plan to start my manual this week. I set aside 3 hours every day, and this is something for this week and the next couple weeks ahead, a little bit of forethought, a little bit of preparing yourself, making a little bit more of a schedule, getting a little bit more structured and orderly and grounded in whatever process you find important. Maybe it's about your body, your relationships, a vacation for yourself, organizing your home. It doesn't matter what the goal is. These next couple weeks coming up are just perfect for you to kind of set up some structure around those desires you have. So anyways, my plan was to start today for writing my manual out. So last night I'm feeling that angst. I'm like, what the heck is it? I'm like, oh, it's about the manual. Okay, the timing of it. You have the energy forecast, your clients, okay. But I'm like, really, what's going on here? what's the issue here? And I was like, I just feel overwhelmed. I don't know, like, where do I start? And I'm like, Laura, you're just gonna review some stuff. You're gonna, do a little brainstorming, jotting some notes down. That's just day one. And I soothed myself. I brought myself to this more relaxed place. So this morning, my schedule said, 9 to 12, you're sitting down and doing the manual. So I've already had breakfast, I have my coffee, I'm ready. Have my iPad, have my computer, like I'm just ready to go. I begin the process of kind of like reviewing what it is I'm gonna be writing about. And before you know it, I have 10 pages down of my manual. Like, this isn't gonna take me the 2 weeks that I've already scheduled in. It just really, the hardest part was addressing the emotional discomfort I felt about taking the step. I knew it was good for me. I know, writing about my like future self, how I want to be teaching, how I want to help other people. If you desire it, to create your own practice, to be a business owner, to help other people heal. I got really clear on what I wanted, and this is the first baby step to that bigger goal. So it's almost this self-sabotaging thing of like, maybe I won't do it today. Maybe I just don't feel it. And it's like, no. There's some uncomfortable emotions that need to be addressed. And unless we're going to be really honest with ourselves about like, Laura, you're doing that thing you do, you're talking yourself out of it, out of, like unlimited possibilities. You're talking yourself out of unlimited possibilities. What are you doing? And I was like, smack. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. It's an emotional thing. Really, I believe everything's an emotional thing. If we peel back the layers of drama and blame and whatever else kind of story you have on top of yourself, when we get down to it, it's just an emotion that we feel uncomfortable, that's gone unaddressed and now seems like this big scary monster. So I looked my monster right in the face and I was like, what's up, overwhelmment? Yep, I've seen you before. I tend to not take action when, for me, overwhelmed means we need to just get moving on that thing you said you were gonna do. So in under 3 hours, I have almost half a manual done, which I thought was gonna take me 2 weeks. So it's amazing what your mind will tell you feels too hard, feels too overwhelming, I don't have the capacity to do. When you address the emotion underneath the mental space, it basically tells, addressing this emotion, it tells upstairs like, shh, okay, I know you think you know it all, but you really don't. You're just one piece of this bigger puzzle I've got going on here. And it's interesting, I found myself like getting ready for this may look a little different because I'm sitting down. I felt like this need to really anchor and ground myself into this energy. I felt, I tune into the energy before I get on here, and I felt really agitated and almost like I had too much coffee. And today was not one of those days for me. So it's just the energy this week. It's a little bit buzzy. That's why, of course, clicks in now, some structure and order will be really helpful for you. Because with this kind of anxious energy, it is easy to kind of get swept up with the mind's game of this is what you should be doing, come on, this is, focus on this, focus on that, and you just end up feeling like raw and ragged and confused and overwhelmed and like you didn't accomplish very much. So long story short, tend to the emotion before you step into some sort of action. If structure makes you go like, oh my gosh, I can't. Okay, what is the emotion here? What's the resistance here? Maybe there's some like old memory of childhood or whatever the heck comes up. Just give it some space and you're gonna feel a hell of a lot better. And you have the tools to do it. The energy this week is completely supporting you in doing this. Another thing that that always is so helpful is appreciation. You know, I've used the word acceptance before, and another kind of realization that happened was like acceptance can sometimes feel like, you know, body acceptance. It's like, you're not great, but you'll do. You know, it's kind of like this, I'm settling for you. Whereas appreciation is like, I appreciate what this is right now, and I'm hoping more comes of this, but right now this is all I've got, so I've got to appreciate it. So spending some time finding something in your life, in your world to appreciate, even just one small thing, and sit with it, focus on it, like really, I'm hearing all these different words, but none of them are really making sense. Just marinate in that appreciation of whatever that one topic is that feels really easy to appreciate. Like me today, like I said, I wrote that a good amount of that manual, and then Brad and I had lunch, and I was about to get ready to do the energy forecast, and I was like, ooh, like I know I'm gonna do that, but I just like, I feel disjointed. I feel kind of like scatterbrained. Sitting on the computer for me is actually really hard. Actually sitting in front of the camera is really hard too. It like hurts my brain for some reason. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I need a walk instead. So I went for a walk, and I was just appreciating so much. Nature just is so beautiful on the East Coast right now. And I found myself like every little thing that I appreciated, like these cherry blossoms, and I like touched them and they were so soft. And I was like, this is just so soft and beautiful. And then I look over and I see a big, big fat bunny. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful mama bunny. Like she is, oh, wow. Oh, a kernel. Oh, oh, oh. And just like left and right, I kept seeing more and more and more and more and more things to appreciate. So that's the beautiful thing about appreciation, that the more you appreciate, the more that comes into your life to appreciate. So this is about abundance. This is about, you know, shifting the state of your body, being thankful, being appreciative. Oh, thank goodness I have this beating heart right now. Do I want to lose some weight? Do I want to be in a different place with it? Yeah. But you know what? Me, you know, ragging on myself, that doesn't do anything. I know that I can feel that discomfort, right? And I'm literally going like, there's friction inside of you when you're hating on your physical body. So that's an indication, that's the red flag. No. Like, that's not helpful. Being a bully to yourself is not helpful. Talking yourself off the ledge is quite helpful. Appreciating where you are and looking forward to the future without like that angst of like, I need to be there now, that's helpful. So some structure this week, but first, well, you know, try to set up some structure for yourself, but when emotions come up, give yourself the time to write about it, to feel about it. I met up with girlfriends. We talked about some things that were causing us anxiety, and it's just so nice to get it up and out and get people's opinions. So talk about it a little bit with someone if you feel bogged down by yourself, and then appreciate. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I wish you all the best. Be good to yourself. You know, allow what comes up to come up. You are not in the wrong place. You are not with the wrong person. You are not doing the wrong thing. You don't have the wrong job. It's not wrong. It's just not the end goal, and that's okay. Appreciating what kind of clarity you're getting from this current situation you find yourself in. Alrighty, take good care of you, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.